Hello, welcome to the Vector Space live stream. We are here to celebrate our 5-year anniversary, and we're doing so with an online silent auction and this little celebration here tonight. I'm Elise Spontarelli, the Executive Director here at Vector Space.
And I'm Adam Spontarelli, the Director of Education.
We are the co-founders here at Vector Space, and we have had a lot of fun putting together this anniversary auction. We called up all of our members and our instructors and our community partners, and so many of them very generously made really beautiful things to donate to the auction. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you can go and bid now. We have all the links and everything you need at vector-space.org/5, F-I-V-E. So you can go there and click on the auction to bid, learn more about us. We're going to talk tonight about some of the things that we have learned and done over the past 5 years. And we'll start off actually with some of the auction items. Do you want to start with some things that you have made, Adam?
Of course I want to start with the things I made, Elise.
Okay, great.
All right, let me show you my favorite one, which I really can't even take complete credit for making this.
It was like child labor made this.
It was mostly child labor. The students tell me that, at least. This is a soccer ball handmade by 6 students and myself during a project that we did here at Vector Space over the past 4 months or so. It took an enormous amount of work to make. I'm a little hesitant to let it go. But to the right buyer, I'm okay with it. But you can see the entire experience that this educational project put these kids through. I've been releasing a series of videos on YouTube that you can check out to get an idea of what it took. And I'm not quite there. The videos aren't quite there yet where you actually get to see this come together, but you get a sense.
Sneak peek.
Yes, this is, lucky you. But you get an idea of just how much work it took to make something that you probably don't think twice about when you pass it in the store. Something that cost $15 or $20 maybe in the store took, just the sewing of the balls. It's all hand-stitched leather, and just the sewing of this ball took me 8 hours. And then there's all the work on the inside. There's a bladder that had to be basically invented by the students, and that bladder is wrapped in string that keeps it from hopefully from breaking. And everything about it. It's designed. It's laser engraved with our logo. Can we see that? Oh yeah. There we go. And yeah, I don't know if you want to kick it or just look at it in all of its beauty.
I think it belongs on a shelf.
Yeah.
All right, some other items. This one I wanted to show for scale. It's a beautiful wooden bowl turned by our lathe instructor. If you've taken a class with Des, you know that he's awesome. But this is just a sweet little wooden bowl with the lid, and it's all of these intricate turnings here. It is walnut, and that is an item. We have lots of wood items that have been bid on popularly. And that's one of them. Another piece is this pendant. Also, I wanted to I'll just put this on. I wanted to bring this one for scale too, because it hangs really low, and it's such a really big and pretty pendant made by one of our makers, one of our members who does lots of different jewelry, and she has a really cool Etsy shop with more stuff you can check out.
That's Lisa, right?
Yeah, yep, exactly. So those are 2 items that I wanted to highlight as well.
Beautiful.
Drive your next one around.
Oh yeah. All right, my next one I want to show because, well, I'm proud of it, but also because you probably have no idea what it is just by looking at the picture on the website. So this was something I invented during quarantine. And I guess, I don't know, the inspiration, the idea came after we did a combat robot project a year and a half ago with students who each made their own little fighting robots, and I had designed a circuit board to do the radio control to their fighting robots, and so I already had this aspect of this thing created, and then during quarantine, as my children were playing with Duplos, I thought, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to have like a little RC car that the kids can build their Duplos on top of? Oh, you act like I'm going to drive it off the table.
Yeah, it might.
Please, please, I'm a pro. So this is all, I designed all of this from the electronics. The circuit boards are all custom printed. They all have the VectorSpace logo on them. I designed the build plate that's Duplo standard.
Just fits our normal Duplo Legos.
And I want to say it goes, the range is about 8 or 10 feet before it runs out of range. So it's not super far, but it's not, it's really, it's an indoor toy.
It's fun. Our kids played with this for a lot of hours, so if you're looking for a lot of hours of entertainment, and pretty robust too. It's been actually child tested, and it might be so robust that we're going to see if it falls off this table
No,
and keeps working.
it's not going to happen.
All right, cool. 2 more things that I wanted to show. This beautiful Moore & Giles bag. Again, for scale, they make so many different bags in different sizes. So I just wanted to show that this one is, sorry, I can come over here. Yeah, this is the size. Looks great on me, right? If nobody wants it, I'll just keep this one. But it has these little side pockets here. It does have 2 zipper pockets inside, one on each side right there. And yeah.
It's beautiful. I know one of my friends is bidding on that one.
Several of our friends are bidding on that one.
Yeah.
And then this last piece is this wooden box here. Again, just for scale, because I feel like it's hard to know some pieces, but this is made by Richard McGann, who is in the Woodworkers Guild that we partner with sometimes. It has this really nice hidden hinges here, and yeah, nice wooden box. Do you want for that knife?
Yeah, last one I have is this kitchen knife that was made by one of our longtime members, Ken Pritchett. He is our blacksmithing instructor, so he teaches classes here on just basic blacksmithing, introductory blacksmithing, and also forging knives using blacksmithing techniques. And so this was one that he made. I don't know a ton about it. It looks like the handle is, what's that called? Not hickory, holly tree. Yeah, how white it is. It's very sharp. I may have just cut myself.
The knives have been popular. There's a few different knives in the auction, and this one has a nice wooden. This is the sheath, and this is the Japanese knife. Like I said, there's a few of them, and so this one is listed as the Japanese kitchen knife. Awesome. So we'll talk a little bit more about some auction items in just a little bit. Again, you can go look, you can go bid. All proceeds benefit the makerspace. And
do you want to talk about some of the experiences in the auction?
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
You're
teaching one.
Yes, the screen printing experience is really a time to have a custom T-shirt designed. So my background is in graphic design, and I will design you a T-shirt that says like Quarantine or your book club name or whatever you need T-shirts for. And then I'll do all of the like messy prep work where, well, I guess not all the messy, I'll do most of the messy work where I'll get the screen ready and we'll get your T-shirts in whatever size you need them. And then you will come in and we'll print the shirts together. So actually pulling the shirts, screen printing them, and then curing them, and then they'll be good to go home with you. So the actual time that the bidder will have to invest is maybe like 2 hours. And we'll do some communicating beforehand, and I will get all your artwork ready for you.
It'll be a lot of fun. And there's another one is the green spoon carving. It's a really popular class that we have here, and this is a chance to have your own private class with your friends or family, and something you don't want to miss out on. But that's basically making wooden spoons the old-fashioned way, carving and hatcheting away.
Yeah, it's no experience necessary. You don't have to know anything about wood carving. And it could be fine for teens too if you wanted to bring kids into it. Yeah. Are there others? There's a wood turning with Des, who made the wooden bowl. He has a class on the auction. And yeah, all of those are on the website, and you can bid.
All right, what's next on the agenda?
All right, let's thank some people.
Okay,
We're going
fine.
to talk about two of our community partners that we have partnered with from the beginning and are really grateful for. The first is Beacon of Hope. So when we were still thinking through the idea of a makerspace and trying to discover if this was something that Lynchburg needs and wants, we met with Laura Hamilton really early on, who's the director at Beacon of Hope. And from that time, Beacon of Hope has been a great partner in bringing us students. So when we work with high school students, they have helped us, identify kids that would be a good fit and who might want to try it. So they've been helpful in that way. And then Laura has been just like a great mentor. I mean, she's been a personal mentor. Every time I leave a meeting with her, I feel like I can do this. Like we got this. She's just so full of encouragement, and that's really helpful. And sometimes it can be hard. It can feel like we're not being effective, or we're not growing, or we're not reaching the people that we want to reach. And she is great at both connecting us with those people and also just being really encouraging and reminding us that what we're doing is important, and just has believed in us from day one. So I really appreciate her and her whole team.
She's one of my favorites. And I haven't seen her in so long because of this whole pandemic thing. I miss her.
So we have a video from Beacon of Hope, and this video is about their one of their biggest programs, which is the Promise Scholarship for all local students. So we have you guys can learn about that.
We've been thinking about this moment for a really long time.
As a school division, we know that we can't do it alone. And we're fortunate here in Lynchburg that we have a lot of community partners, one of which is the Beacon of Hope, who's provided this opportunity for our students.
So Lynchburg's promise is called Stay Close, Go Far. What we are promising Lynchburg graduates is that at least for the next 5 years, you can be afforded as a student free community college, period, out of the gate, should you choose to pursue your next step there. Or you can use our universal scholarship to pursue your education at one of our regionally accredited local colleges and universities, up to $8,000 per student. It's not designed around your GPA. It's not designed around, whether or not you do or don't have the finances to get there. This is for any Lynchburg City School graduate.
Hearing everybody guess, you heard the air come out of the room.
I wanted to go to a community college first, locally, so it's great to have the opportunity to go completely free.
I will definitely take advantage of this opportunity. It's just a complete blessing. It's something that I hope every student in Lynchburg City Schools takes advantage of. I've always said that we need to do more than just graduate our children. We need to take them beyond. And this is a phenomenal opportunity to take our kids beyond. We're part of that promise. So that makes this really exciting, that I can take my kids beyond graduation and really help to sustain their future.
Stay Close, Go Far is an excellent opportunity for EC Glass and Heritage High School seniors.
This has been a $4 million investment from all kinds of different individuals and businesses and foundations in this community. And so what we're telling our students is that this community has decided to invest very heavily in their futures.
One of the biggest investments we can give our students is an excellent education. And I see this partnership with the Beacon of Hope. I see this promise that we're making our children, that their future success is right here, where we have it in our hands for them, as a reinvestment in our commitment to our children to make sure that they're successful. And I think this is a good example of one more opportunity where the Lynchburg community, our school system, and our partners have taken that opportunity to say, hey, let's reinvest in our children.
That's such an amazing program, and we're thankful for Beacon of Hope, not just as partners, but as parents of kids here in Lynchburg.
Yeah, definitely. Another partner we want to thank, one who helped us from the very beginning. In fact, actually, they helped us out before we were ever even in this building. When we had this idea to start Vector Space, we kind of wanted to do a proof of concept. And we did that by doing our first student project with 6 high school students to make their own multicopter, their own video quadcopter. And drone. Oh, that's what the kids are calling it these days. Quadcopter. So we needed space to do that, and we had nothing, and we reached out to Jeff Kirshner at the Academy Center of Fine Arts and asked if they could do anything for us, and he was there. I think, how long had he been there?
Like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, he wasn't even moved into his office, but he still welcomed us in, and he said, yeah, absolutely, we'll find some space, and he put us downstairs in the old photo lab, and then gave us a bunch of I think the dance studio to practice flying our drone around in. So they gave us the space we needed for that very first project, which was a huge success, and really, I mean, part of what motivated us to keep going, and to get our own building and do our own thing. So I just look back at it. It's an inspiration to me, and I think about it when people come to us now asking for advice or help, or what little we can do, and it's awesome to think about how much the Academy helped us out. And that was 5 years ago, but we still partner with them all the time. So they're still every bit as friendly and helpful. And now we can actually give back every now and then and help them out too.
We try.
A little bit, yeah, not as much. Sorry, Jeff. But yeah, so that's what I want to say about the Academy. They've got a new program coming up that we're going to show the video of.
This is their The Academy Is campaign. I know that it's been a rough year for performing arts centers, and the Academy has done so much pivoting, and they've been so careful, and they're still doing programming, so please go take a class. You can take a virtual class. They're doing so many great things still right now that you guys can support.
And someday we're gonna.
We will partner.
We will partner.
More.
We were in talks with doing a joint summer camp last summer, before the pandemic. So hopefully we'll get back to that idea, and you'll see it in the future.
All right, for our next trick, Adam and I have each prepared questions for each other. So it's like our anniversary celebration at Vector Space and also the Newlywed Game. So we each have a couple questions for each other that we have not shared. And so Adam will start us off.
I'm going to ask my question first?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what her questions are going to be like.
Obviously.
All right, my first question, what does this picture tell us? Well, I'm going to show the picture.
Okay,
well, it's going to be hard for them to see, but tell us. tell us what's going on in this picture.
All right.
What kind of memories does that bring
that
back?
is a great picture. So that picture is our combat robot event at Riverviews in, I want to say like 2017. And I am laughing very hard. We have the truck here. Should we get it?
Oh, where is it?
I think it's on that bookshelf.
You think so?
Yeah. So so it was a combat robot event, which is when you make a small fighting robot and compete with other small fighting robots. And so we have young kids, and I took this little dump truck toy and turned it into, it's not, fighting is a strong word. I roboted it, I motorized it. So I just put these two little spinners on these wheels. It's like glued together.
Zip tied. I see zip ties.
Zip tied together. There's like some plywood on the bottom. It's ridiculous, and it was so funny. I think if there was like a crowd favorite vote, it would have won because it was just this little thing. Its failure point was that one of these wheels just pops right off, this one. And so it just got stuck with two wheels because it's literally hot glued on there. So this was a mess and really funny, and a really good example of like the weird and awesome things that we do at Vector Space. I also remember that Leland Melvin, so Leland Melvin's behind me in the picture, which is great. Leland has been a supporter since day one also, and he came and he emceed our teeny tiny little robot battle because he emceed like the real ones on TV.
he was
also.
on BattleBots.
Right.
He was one of the judges on BattleBots one year.
And so he came and emceed for us, which was amazing and hilarious, and he's great. So yeah, that's a really fun memory.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So I also remember, I was in the hallway when it happened, but I remember the crowd going wild. Do you remember why?
He won. Like I won
Yes.
my first fight.
Yes.
That's true.
How
against like someone who didn't bring a toy to the arena, and was there a pit? Did he get stuck?
I think it got stuck under the perimeter. Like the wedge got
The
stuck
2x4,
under the wood, and
yeah.
if you can't move for like 10 seconds, then you get disqualified, and the little truck kept spinning around.
With like 3 wheels.
Yeah, and I just heard people screaming. It was
It was a good time.
pretty wild.
Yes.
All right, your turn.
Great. Okay. My question is, what tool is like the hidden gem of the makerspace, like unrecognized potential?
Oh, see, I knew you would give me these hard ones that I have to think about really hard. Well, hidden gem. Everyone knows about the laser cutter, so that's a known gem. This is hard to say. I don't know. I'd have to think for a long time to give you the right answer.
Either a underutilized or underappreciated tool,
Yeah,
not like the most.
Underutilized. The one that I think, well, for me personally, and I see a lot of people when they learn it, it really just opens up a new world, and it's something that the average person just doesn't have access to, which is the machine shop, and I guess mainly the milling machine.
What do you do with the milling machine?
Yeah, what do you do with the milling machine? You cut metal. So it's so fundamental that it makes it incredibly versatile, and it has a bit of a learning curve to it, but once you know how to use it, you can cut metal into very precise shapes, and we've made all sorts of things on it from...
Back to combat robots.
Yeah, we had students making their combat robots on the milling machine. I've seen jewelry made on the milling machine, salt and pepper shakers, parts of a...
Wait, this necklace.
Oh, that's right. I made that necklace on the milling machine. Yeah. It's a tool where unless you're in that industry or like that's your hobby is machining, you wouldn't have that tool at home. And I love when members come here and know nothing about it, but get sucked into that world, and it really just opens up what they're capable of making.
That's good. It's a good example of what a makerspace can offer a community, is tools that you can access that normally you have to be like at the community college taking a course or in a machine shop to use. So.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, my turn.
Passing grade.
Thank you. All right. Well, this one's kind of similar. Kind of. We'll see. All right. What tool have you learned to use at Vector Space that you probably wouldn't have otherwise?
There's a lot of those tools. I think I will go with something that, so what I'm drawn to like first at Vectorspace are the tools where I can take a digital design and put it onto something, right? So those are like the CNC machines or even screen printing, making a screen and printing a t-shirt. So those I may have found my way to without Vectorspace. But probably welding is one that I don't even know like if I would have been interested. Yeah, I'm gonna say welding. And this week I welded a really creepy glove hanger for the welding gloves. That was really funny.
Yep.
It's just a glove rack, but it looks like there's hands protruding from the wall. And what else have I welded?
made that-
The big LYH letters that I made for Ashley, and those nearly killed me. It was really stressful.
You learned a lot.
I did learn a lot, and that they turned out well. But honestly, like any piece that I make for other people is always like super stressful because I'm like, what if it's not what they wanted? But I did weld those, and that was TIG welding, which is pretty advanced. I probably wasn't ready for that, but yeah,
You made it happen.
Welding is the answer to that question.
All right.
All right, this one is like another super broad. I should maybe narrow it for you.
Thank you.
I'm only going to narrow it a smidge. What is your favorite event that we've done as Vectorspace? So we not necessarily that we hosted, but like that we at least participated in or attended or were a part of.
Favorite event that we participated in. Yeah, I got to think through them all. Trouble is I got to remember all of them first and then decide which one.
Write them down. I'm sure. Our
Yeah,
audience will
could you all give me just a minute to check my phone of all the events we've done?
We've done like concerts, right, where we made things for concerts.
Yeah. So we've done like Friday Cheers. Get Downtown has been fun. I'm thinking of the one where you and I taught that class of middle schoolers to make their own speakers, and then they sold them at Get Downtown, and that was a really fun experience, especially watching those students, show off their work and to make sales and be really proud of it. So I definitely love that Get Downtown. What was that, 2 years ago? Food Fest comes to mind for some reason. I think it was just a lot of fun. We had a lot of member engagement. We ended up making
liquid nitrogen ice cream.
Liquid nitrogen ice cream, thank you. And like we ran out completely, and people, like every person would ask like, where's your ice cream place?
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, no.
It was actually a terrible event because it was an example of how Vectorspace is terrible at marketing.
Yes.
Like we went to this event and they were like, oh cool, where's this ice cream shop? And we were like, no, we're a makerspace. And they're like, nope, no, never heard of it. Like,
But the ice cream was so good. Like
it was really good.
maybe we should start an ice cream shop. So the ice cream was amazing, and then a bunch of our members made like a photo backdrop and props that we still have.
Big foam pizza slices and stuff.
And anytime you and I don't end up making a Halloween costume, we end up wearing
We've
those.
worn those to Ugly Bug and to all the Halloween parties.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that one's up there. And then also Maker Faire New York. We were asked to come up by Cognizant and put on like a little workshop for kids to make big foam gliders. And did they have the foam there? Wasn't that a big?
They shipped pallets of foam or something because our contact was in Texas and the event was in New York, and we were like, this seems like a big deal. Sorry, because we made them ship foam across the country or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was a hit. I mean, the kids absolutely loved it. We made these foam airplanes with hot wire cutting, which, for anyone who hasn't seen that before, it's like magic. You heat up a wire with electricity, and it just cuts like a hot knife through foam. But it was a hit, and all day you would see these big pink foam gliders just sailing through the air. At this huge event, 100,000 people.
I feel like this is also a classic example of someone asking a maker for something, and then they show up and they're like, this is the project you thought would be a good idea with like 2,000 6-year-olds? And we're like, yeah, it's great. They love it.
Yeah.
It is. But it's like a hot mess.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
So what was that? That was 3.
All of the events.
Yeah. 3 great ones. I don't know if I got the best one.
Mm-hmm. Good. It's your turn.
Oh, okay, right. We're on to number 3. Okay, what's something you've done here that you're most proud of?
Most proud of. Man. It's like the whole thing. We built this.
Yeah.
It doesn't count. This auction right now. Something. So just think of something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to do each year is put together our annual report, which I think some people find really not fun, but I love it because it's this reflection of what we've done over the year. So I haven't done our 2020 annual report, and 2020 is sort of a scary year. But I think when I go to look back at the year each year and I see like all of the things that we've done together, right? So like last year, the thing that stood out was our list of community partners was like 2 columns, a full page of people and or organizations that we worked with. And that's just always been something that's important to us. When we say like a community makerspace, we don't just mean like this internal community of members who are very important, and obviously we serve them every day, but like the whole community, right? Like the students and the other nonprofits and the small businesses and everyone in the community. I want them to benefit and be a part of this makerspace. And a lot of that we've been able to do like firsthand, and obviously there's a ripple effect from there. So I think one of the things I'm proud of is the way that we've been able to partner and really be a part of the community. And that's something that has really been rewarding in our personal lives too. I mean, before we started Vector Space, we lived here for several years, but we were not a part of the community like we are now. We didn't have this like tribe of people that, you know, someone has our children right now.
I hope.
And there's just this great community that's here that I really, you know, I don't know that we'd still be in Lynchburg without it, right? Mm-hmm. So community is the thing I'm proud of.
Very good.
Thanks. All right, so this question will segue us right into our next topic. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the fund a need items in the auction. So why, Adam, is a makerspace a good investment? Why should someone support this?
Yeah, so, well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, this is foremost a learning space, right? It's a place where people can come and learn things that they don't have access to otherwise. And we already talked about things like milling machines and welding. And I mean, these aren't like one-off examples. It happens every day. And you know people are learning here every day because stuff breaks every day. and I think about that and I remind myself, and other, you know, makerspace leaders talk about this too, that you know, it can be frustrating when all the drill bits are broken. It's not that bad, but you know, I have to remind myself that it's a sign that, well, someone didn't know how to use this tool properly, and they just took the next step into getting there. And that, I guess that costs money, right? It costs money for people to learn, for people to grow, for people to, you know, have fulfilled lives and to do interesting things and be creative. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to see people's creativity, like to go out and be inspired by creativity, but there's not a lot of opportunity to go and be creative unless you have access at home to all the tools that you need. But that's pretty rare. So a makerspace kind of, it just broadens who can be a part of that club. And it just brings awesome things to the people, to the members who are here. It brings things to all the students who attend programs at their makerspace. I think it's valuable for the community. We think about, like, well, we haven't done it in a while because of the pandemic, but First Fridays, that used to be the way that the community would come in for a free program sponsored by, you know, a local company or foundation. And it was, again, just this great opportunity for community members to come in and be creative one night and to do something they had never thought of, to make a foam glider, because yeah, we did it at a First Friday too, or take apart a photocopier machine, I mean, we made boomerangs and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I guess the point is, there's just so many things. It's hard to pick one, but it's absolutely worth it. It's worth it to build better people, whether they're hobbyists, whether they're professionals, like improving their craft to better our community through their work. Yeah, you should invest.
Perfect. Great. Let's talk about ways they can do that.
Okay.
So there's a couple items at the bottom of the auction, once you pass all of these goodies that we've shown you, that are just an opportunity to donate. So the first one is the maker supplies, and that goes back to what Adam said about things breaking. Things are always breaking. And the way to encourage people to try and fail is to not punish them for breaking things, right? So Vector Space supplies consumables in all areas of the shop, 3D printer filament and screws and glues and bandsaw blades when you break them and things like that. So that is an opportunity to support the purchase of supply items. I guess I should back up a little bit and just explain with these fund and need items that you will not be outbid. There is the bid amount there is the donation amount. It is a full donation, so when you get your receipt at the end of the auction, all of that portion for the fund and need items will be tax deductible. And yeah, so that's the housekeeping. And then
Can I share another story of a mistake that cost a lot of money?
sure.
There's been a few. There's one in the soccer project, but I'll let you watch the videos, and I think it's going to come up in like probably episode 4 or 5. But before that, there was the autonomous boat project, and this is where a group of students built a boat that was set to sail from Lynchburg to Richmond by way of the James River. And I mean, we were 30, 40 hours into this project. We had these 6 big lead acid batteries on the bottom of the boat, and we had programmed the computer to swing LiDAR back and forth and get range from the coasts so it could stay in the center and avoid any obstacles. And they're installing the computer into the hull of the boat, and one of the students goes to wire up the batteries to the computer, and this is the Jetson TX1, like very fancy computer vision, high tech, and he hooks up the positive and negative backwards, and the thing literally blows up. And that was like a $600 computer, and we didn't budget for that. So, I mean, these kinds of things just happen, and fortunately, you know, sponsors and donors come in and they help us out when stuff like this goes wrong. And we can't.
No matter how much we try to like build that in, like we definitely build in like a mistakes line item in the budget, but like not an extra $600 computer for every project. So
right. So yeah.
Work.
Yeah. So please help us for whatever future mistakes or our students make.
So that goes into the next fund and need item is educational support. So Adam explained what that looks like. None of our projects are cheap. They all use expensive equipment and really cool materials to give students this opportunity. We're not like simulating welding. They're really welding, and that just goes for everything that they do. Another item is the mural. So we have several blank outside walls and several artists here that would paint them for us. So we will hire an artist to paint a mural. The first wall that we want to tackle is the wall that used to be covered in like ads for cigarettes and fast food when our wood shop was a convenience store. So we have cleared it of the advertisements, but now we want to put some art there, and I really think that would be a nice full circle moment too to have that. So that's in our Court Street parking lot, which means that it's where most people park and see, and it's a really good visible spot. It's not visible from Fifth Street. Well, I guess it could be visible from Fifth Street driving up, but it's a really nice big wall, and we want to put a mural there. So you can help with that. You can also help with Maker Faire video sponsorship. So every year in March, we partner with Randolph College to do Maker Faire, which is just a huge celebration with lots of people close together. So this year it will be virtual instead. But what we're doing, and I worked with our videographer to shoot 6 of these videos today, so I'm really excited about the content that we have. But what we're doing is we're getting 20 different makers from all around Lynchburg, and we're going into their shops, we're going behind the scenes, we're interviewing them, we're getting the things that you couldn't get at Maker Faire. So for a while I was sort of hesitant to go virtual with this event because in-person learning is really important to me. But I was encouraged by another Maker Faire producer in New York to find a way to offer things that we couldn't do at the fair. And so shop tours and like the full making process of how you make this product from start to finish, right? Those are the kinds of things that we can do with video. And so those are what we'll have available on March 28th when we release these Maker Faire videos. And if you would like to help support that, you can sponsor a video. And then there is also the rent. Is that the last one?
Yeah, for the real hero out there. The least exciting thing on the list.
But the most helpful.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we have a physical space, and we wouldn't be much without it. And it costs money. And
it's a great space. We do like lots of really cool stuff with this funky. I think that maybe someone else would have taken this space and like gutted it or bulldozed it or done something sad, and we have just taken it and made it.
It almost sounded right.
Our own like really funky creative space that people can come and make things and learn.
Thank you.
That's our plea.
Please help.
All right, next we're going to thank, speaking of supporters, we have 2 more community partners that we want to thank. And you want to start with Framatome?
Sure. Let's start with Framatome, or at the time it was Arriva. Framatome was our first source of funding, and I remember it well. So I used to work at Arriva. I was an engineer there, and I had reached out to the head of the communications department. I don't actually remember the specifics of the back and forth and how it went, but I remember, asking for support for what kind of funding could they provide for a makerspace here in Lynchburg, Virginia, and Teresa was my contact, and she told me, okay, she was going to talk with the CEO and get back to me, and a week later she calls me at my office, and she says, Adam, I've got news about the funding you requested. And I was like, okay, this doesn't sound very good. And she said, they said no. And I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, I'm just kidding. They said you can have $10,000. I was like, Teresa, I don't even know you that well. Like, why?
How would you do that?
Why would you say that to me? I really thought she was serious. And so, I mean, Framatome supported us from before the beginning with a huge amount of funding for something that it was just an idea. Like, it was hard to even explain. I mean, it's still hard to explain what goes on here, and we always say the best way to figure it out is to come and see it. And they were on board before they could see anything, and I appreciate it so much. And not just from the corporate level, but all my former colleagues have been huge supporters, whether financially, whether they've been involved as members and putting in a lot of sweat and work into making this place what it is here. So
a lot of our founding members were employees at Arriva. The photos that we scrolled, those are several different like community outreach and engagement events that we've done with Framatome employees. We have they do a mentoring program that they do here, and there's just a lot of different ways that they have been engaged since day one and continue to support. And we work closely with their Women in Nuclear group now, and yeah, they've just been great. They've been really great supporters. The next partner that we want to thank is Cognizant. So when I think about Cognizant and the way they supported us early on, what I think about is the many, many grant rejections that we got early on. And Cognizant was one of the first to support our maker education programs through their grant. So they have a program called Making the Future, and it funds maker education. And so they have been with us, since really early on and funding our educational programs. And they also have this Pathways in Technology scholarship that is available now for students in computer science. So this is for college students who have already entered in computer science majors, and they are looking to fund
We've been thinking about this moment for a
that
really
area. So if you know a college student, this is a $5,000 scholarship. So if you know a computer science student, please send them their way, and we'll be posting that link on our sites and everything as well. But yeah, Cognizant has also, we went to World Maker Faire with Cognizant. We've been to the Boy Scout National Jamboree where they did Cognizant, this huge pop-up makerspace, and I got to teach like 1 billion kids how to screen print, and it was such a mess. It was a lot of fun, but they're just really like in it in a way that I don't see a lot of. I mean, they are a huge global IT company, and for them to take the time to go and do like really messy stuff, because that is what is important and that is how kids learn, I just really admire. And I think it's great. It's been great to work with them, and we really, we appreciate them. And after the pandemic, we will host our first boarding camp with the support of Cognizant as soon as people are ready to travel and stay with us and make things.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. All right, we have 2 more questions for each.
All right, am I first?
Sure.
All right, question number 4. Okay, this is an easy, well, it's easy if you remembered. Do you remember our first group project member build here at VectorSpace?
So I think you gave me the answer to this earlier. Let me think if I would think of this otherwise. Let me pretend I don't know the answer. So we made this 3D printed CNC router, and it was it like conduit and 3D prints? So like the cheapest, lightest materials. Oh, and did we make it to be a chalkbot first?
No.
That was later? That was a different
That
one?
came later.
Oh, okay. So we built a CNC router that was 3D printed, and by the time we finished it, I mean, it took a long time, and we didn't design it. The plans existed, but as a group, we built it, and by the time we finished, someone donated one. So I don't even think it ever got used.
No.
Is that when it became a chalkbot, or was that just totally different? Let's just talk about the chalkbot. We also made a chalk painting robot for the Amazement Square Chalk Festival. And at first, when we talked about it, Amazement Square didn't want us to bring it because they thought it was going to win and be like a cheating robot. And this thing, that was not a concern, because it it would just drag a piece of chalk.
Well, it would have won. But here, do you remember what
It
happened?
was very humid outside. Is that
It was the humidity. It was. Inside, it worked amazingly well. And then we made it, that one was made out of wood.
Yeah.
So all the rails and the sliders were wood, and when we went outside in the humidity, then everything bound up. It wouldn't move anymore. And also the rough texture of the asphalt. No one told me that they didn't
all
have
of these
smooth
things
asphalt.
were predictable.
No, it wasn't like the table inside of VectorSpace. So we have to try again, I think. But I don't know if you would have remembered that CNC router. It makes me laugh, especially because we're talking about
CNC routers.
CNC
All of us in our life right now.
And just to look at the difference between that one that we made. Let's just compare it by weight. It probably weighed 20 or 30 pounds, and right now we're talking about acquiring a 1,500-pound CNC router that is 14 feet by 10 feet. So
we've come a long way.
Yeah, we've come a long way. We've grown, but we're still doing the same old fun stuff.
Yeah.
That one will not be amazing, or will it?
Before we move it in, we'll just move it to their parking lot and draw with chalk.
Yeah.
I think I had something to say. Oh yes, robots are not always smarter than humans.
No, they're only as smart as the person who makes them. So.
Okay, good one. All right. My next question is, what's the most stressful thing you've done here at VectorSpace? I think everyone knows the thing that stresses me out, and that is moving tools. But
Yeah.
Adam doesn't get stressed by that, and at least not in the same way. So what stresses you out?
No, it's the moving the tools. I think, you know, the one that doesn't stress me that I think stresses other people is when the computer for the boat blows up. It's when projects are going really poorly or you know, the unexpected happens. I kind of revel in that and enjoy it and feed off of it. But the first thing I think of when you ask that is moving tools. Even when we hired and did it appropriately.
Borderline appropriate.
No, it's always been fine. Yeah, lifting 2,000-pound machines and
That like we can't afford to replace. Right?
well, we can't afford to replace them.
Can't afford to replace the wall that they knock out if we miss. Like there's just so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah, and then there was, you know, everyone who sees our laser cutter upstairs. I mean, the first question, it's been asked 100 times, but the first question is how did this get here?
It was born here.
Yeah, we grew
We
it.
built it in this room.
It's a big machine. It's big physically, in physical dimension, and it's big as in it's heavy. And I certainly remember the night you and I got it up the stairs, and we cut a hole in the stairs. We cut a hole in the floor because the opening for the stairwell wasn't big enough. So and this was all happening, you know, while it was floating on a winch by a single steel cable. So this thing was being held up, 700 pounds held up in the air by this winch, and we were running circular saws around it, cutting floorboards open and towing it up the stairs.
This was at least before we had refinished the upstairs. Like
Yeah.
We were tearing the stairs apart as we dragged the laser up.
Yes.
We kind of rebuilt them
Yeah.
anyway.
We had to, at one point we had to jump down. We had to like sneak over the laser cutter and go home so that we could come back the next day because we didn't finish it the first night.
Blocked that from my memory.
Yeah, so I think it's
moving tools.
it's still moving tools. Yeah,
Great. I'm glad we.
agree.
aired that.
But I'm still going to keep moving them.
I'm just not going to be there when they get moved.
All right, my turn.
Yeah.
All right, what's something
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What's something you've been wanting to do here since day one, but you haven't yet?
It seems like if I wanted to do something since day one, we should have done it.
No, there's all kinds of things that get put on the back burner.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't,
true.
or you know,
For a long time.
for a long time.
I mean, we just talked this week about a project we've been talking about doing for a long time that we haven't.
That's
for no
true.
good reason.
That's true.
The animated GIF camera. We want to work with Michelin and Joanza to do like 3D printed cameras, and it's a cool project because it combines like electronics and rapid prototyping and photography and art, and we could put like a community message behind it. So we want to do that. What else have I wanted to do since day one or since early on? I don't know. I mean, the thing that I've been feeling lately, but this happens like sort of cyclically, is that like I need more time to make things, and it's always been important to us that we not just run this space, but we make things here. We have to be users of the space to really understand it and know where the sticking points are and things like that. So I'd love just to have more free time to make things. And that hasn't changed since day one.
Do you think that's ever going to change?
No, I don't, but that's okay. I have some time. We do make time to make things.
Yeah.
It's just not, we can't always have time to just play. I don't know. Can you think of anything? Did you have an answer in mind?
No.
Okay, just making sure I'm not forgetting something that I said like on our founding day, I'm going to do this.
No,
but
no.
I still haven't done it.
Wasn't like that.
All right, I don't feel like that was a very good answer, but.
Maybe it wasn't a good question. Sorry.
All right, I peeked at you have a sixth question also, which is cheating.
Just
But
in
it's
case
the
number 5 wasn't good.
It's the same as my last question, which is what's next? What are you looking forward to in the future?
Yeah. Well, anyone who tries to predict the future is a fool. And you know, looking back 5 years ago, could we have predicted where we are now? No, of course not.
I didn't mean like predict the future. I meant like what do you want to do? What are you looking
Oh,
forward to?
what do I want to do? You know, I was very excited about our summer boarding camps that were supposed to happen last summer. And so it's kind of like the culmination of everything we've learned about student projects and maker education, coming into this idea of kids coming here from across the country and boarding here in Lynchburg and working with the best instructors we can put together on these really cool project ideas. And so I just think it's an awesome idea, and I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait for it to happen. But, you know, of course, once again, we have to skip again this year. So it'll be at least another year before something like that happens. But yeah, I think that's number one for me.
That's a good one. Should I answer that as well?
Yeah, sure.
6th question.
Let's hear it.
I don't really know. As much as like growing and expanding is difficult, it is exciting, and I do look forward to finishing out that. There's an unfinished space behind the wood shop. So when we expanded in last January, we have about 1,500 square feet that's not really being utilized, and we do have plans for it. But there's reasons that we haven't acted on it yet, and we will. But I look forward to finishing that out. We want it to be private studios and offices for makers who are ready to sort of take the next step in their craft. So maybe that's like having a business or having an office for their business because they sell what they make. Entrepreneurship is something that that I'm passionate about, and that I love to foster and help people in. So having more spaces for that to happen, and then also like a shared conference room or a space where meetings could happen for those same folks. So I do look forward to being able to utilize that space. And then the physical space is something that is just always on our list, and we're
that's
always
the thing we
working
can't
on.
predict.
It's never finished, right? Like I'm always like, oh, we should post like a before and after picture, and I'm like, well, when will after be, right? Like it's just always constantly changing, and that's great, and that's cool, and that's part of this dynamic community space. Like people are bringing ideas to it, people are bringing their own tools, and every time a new cohort of members joins, they have different interests and they have different backgrounds, and they have, they bring so much to the table. So the space just keeps expanding and moving, and things get shifted, and it's always changing. So I look forward to seeing what that looks like.
Yeah, what it looks like, and also, I mean, we've learned so much because of that too. I mean, blacksmithing was, I guess you kind of brought it back from another makerspace, but there were a lot of members who had experience in blacksmithing that helped make that happen, and that was something neither of us had experience in, and now we do, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What was another one? Stained glass was another member interest that's now up and running, and that was also something that I didn't know I would enjoy so much, and it is really neat. And I've seen other members feel the exact same way. One in particular going. Actually, one of the items in the auction from Justin Smith, he spends a lot of time in that stained glass studio, and that's really neat. I mean, now we're talking about anodizing metals, and that's another one that's coming from.
Ooh, that tufting gun that Christina wants.
Oh yeah, the tufting gun.
So we're looking forward to new tools.
Yeah, new tools. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome.
What's next on our agenda?
Next up, 2 more partners that we're going to talk about. All right, so the first one is Downtown Lynchburg Association. When we were looking for spaces 5+ years ago, well, do you remember that we put out that community survey to like all 16 people that we knew in Lynchburg?
Oh.
We put out this survey because we wanted to find out like where did people want to see a makerspace, and it was very polarizing. They either wanted it in Forest or in downtown. Yep. And so we said, well, we should put it in like.
We've been thinking about this moment.
The Downtown Lynchburg Association is a huge part of that, right? They bring business owners together, and so it's not this competition among business owners, it's collaboration, and we work with a ton of the downtown businesses to do cool projects. When someone needs a new sign, they call us. It's just really fun and really lucrative for everyone because they're all, you know, piggybacking and helping each other. Driving people downtown, they're always conscious about, you know, what's walkable and how can we make it pedestrian friendly and how can we make this a good place to want to be. And it's just really great to be a part of that, and we appreciate what they do to keep and you know, when we think back about where we might have landed instead, it's just hard to imagine that it could have been this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely think we made the right decision, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking about other maker spaces who do end up in
Industrial parks.
in the industrial park, yeah. And I don't think they see quite the diversity of backgrounds in their membership and in their community partners that we see. So that's just one of many reasons that we're super happy here.
Yeah, it definitely makes us stronger. Another one is Opportunity Lynchburg, so our tourism and EDA office. I remember when we met that team at Tom Tom Fest in Charlottesville.
Oh yeah.
And that was, again, I think we were looking at properties, and you know, they have been really helpful. When we did, we landed in this building, and then very quickly we expanded into the upstairs, and you know, there's grant programs to help us with the expansion that we're putting into this building here, and we're in, you know, certain zones that make it more affordable for us to renovate, and they just do a good job of investing in Lynchburg and helping the businesses that are here and want to be here. And you know, they're constantly checking in with the community and with residents and business owners to say, like, you know, what do you need from us? And I just think that we're so lucky to have a team that cares, and that's something that I also know other makerspaces don't have, like a relationship with their business alliance or with their EDA that we have that is really valuable, and yeah, I really appreciate them. So we have the video from the EDA is their like 2020 recap, so we can see what they were up to this year.
Greetings, friends and colleagues. 2020 has been a year of growth, unprecedented challenge, and incredible resilience. Through this unimaginable year, we stood with you in commitment to the health and well-being of our city. Lynchburg is a city that makes things with a robust manufacturing sector and a diverse makeup of industries. We are a city that learns together and produces top talent for the world. We are a city that heals, employing thousands in healthcare and related fields. And we are a city that welcomes visitors from all over the world, filling our hotels, restaurants, and attractions that showcase our unique sense of place. This year, companies continued to invest and found new ways to innovate. In fiscal year 2020, CloudFit Software announced the City of Lynchburg as their headquarters, renovating and revitalizing a historic icon in downtown Lynchburg, the Carter Glass Building. Bosch & Lomb and Flowers Bakery announced expansions investing a combined $60 million and creating 94 new jobs in our community. And we saw the opening of 2 new breweries in the middle of a pandemic. In March, when the pandemic hit, our anchor institutions and partners responded rapidly to support a range of industries, from Main Street to manufacturing, offering services around risk mitigation, health and safety, and small business development. The city's creative sector has continued to spread joy remotely, finding new ways to entertain and inspire, celebrating the resilience of the human experience. Local restaurants and shops implemented new ways to remain open, and Lynchburg citizens made it their responsibility to support them. In this unprecedented time, we reached out to ask, what does the future look like for the city of Lynchburg? How will we continue to serve our businesses, large and small? How will we position our city to welcome back visitors, conferences, and sporting events? More than 75 business leaders across sectors stepped up as part of a task force to reset our economic development strategy. You offered solutions to challenges and reiterated your priorities for our community. As we move into the future, the Office of Economic Development and Tourism commits to supporting existing businesses first to drive investment and retain and create quality jobs. We will communicate with you and tell authentic stories that celebrate the fabric of our community. We will promote the city as a destination for business, students, and visitors. We will continue to support the recovery of small business. We will invest in arts and cultural initiatives that build community and bridge differences. We believe that when you build a place where people want to live, you have built a place where talent is drawn to work. If you build a place where people want to work, you will have built a place where business needs to be. And if you build a place where business needs to be, you will build a place where people have to visit. Please connect with us. Learn more about the work that we are doing with you. Sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media, or better yet, reach out for a conversation. Together, we are serving on the front lines to make Lynchburg the best small city in America.
Alrighty, our wonderful videographer over here, Rick O'Neill, is doing video for us tonight. So if there's any mistakes in anything, it's actually us, not Rick. Rick's doing great.
No.
Adam's messing things up. I dropped my mic earlier. But he let us know that there were maybe some questions. So Mom, you can ask your question in the chat if you want, and we'll answer it. No, just kidding. Anyone can ask their questions in the chat, and we will be happy to answer those for you. Next up, we want to thank our board of directors. So our board is awesome. Some people don't have great boards, and we do, and I'm really fortunate.
Sorry for everyone else.
Some people have great boards, and we're one of them. So Bob Bailey is our board chair. With Bob particular, I remember when he reached out to us when he heard that we were talking about starting Vector Space, and it was like a celebrity had called to express interest. And it's still like that because Bob's awesome.
Yeah.
So Bob Bailey is our board chair, and we really appreciate him. He brings so much nonprofit experience. He was most recently the director at the Center for Advanced Engineering and Research out in Forest, and he's great. We really appreciate him. Our other board members, Bethany Mickles has been our recording secretary, our board secretary for all 5 years now.
Yeah, day one.
And we recruited her from Jubilee, and she's just awesome, and like I said, such a great person in the community that's connected to different things. Aaron Skeen is our treasurer. Aaron's a member here. It's important for us that we have some board members that are actual users of the space, so that we have some of that on the board. And yeah, like I said, Aaron's our treasurer. And we have Anna Benson from Opportunity Lynchburg from the EDA, joined our board just in the past year or so. Ken Bojacek is also newer to the board, retired from BWXT, and he's been great in getting us organized. So we need that.
Sorry,
and appreciate
Ken.
that.
It's been hard for him for sure.
Taking all the things that are in our heads and putting them out on paper. So that's helpful. Also, Michelin Hall with Blackwater Branding. She's great. Michelin always is just thinking about what we're going to need before we know what it is, and I just always appreciate her input there. Peter Sheldon from Randolph College has been on the board since day one, and that's been such a great partnership. We love working with Randolph, and having Peter on our board and just working so closely with the college has made us realize that we want that with the other universities in Lynchburg as well. And so it's been not only great to have that relationship with Randolph, but to have that sort of as a model of ways that we can engage in the community. So we appreciate Peter. Stephen Bullock from Framatome. Stephen's been on our board since the beginning.
Not the very beginning.
Since early on.
Yeah, it's been a few years, 2 or 3 years.
And Stephen also joined as a member recently too, so I feel like it's a great testimonial. Thank you, Stephen.
And made his first T-shirt somewhat recently.
That's right. He had the screen printing experience.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting? There is, am I forgetting anyone?
I thought you got everyone.
Adam is on our board. That's who I forgot. Adam's also on the board. Thanks. We do have a couple of words from some of our board members as we celebrate 5 years. So this is Peter and Bob.
Congratulations, VectorSpace, on your 5-year anniversary. I was so impressed when Elise and Adam came to me to discuss this venture, especially that they seemed so certain of what they were doing. I was well aware of makerspaces and the maker movement, and I thought it would be a fantastic addition to the Lynchburg community. I come at things from the side of science and technology education, and I saw so much potential in a public space of this sort as a place where more public education and events could happen, while of course I understand the primary operation is a space where people can come together and make. But honestly, VectorSpace has grown and impacted the community beyond my expectations, and I'm proud to be a small part of that. Congratulations, VectorSpace, and thank you, Elise and Adam.
Wonderful. Thank you, Peter. I think the last thing we're going to do is check in with the auction and tell you guys to go and bid on stuff.
Yeah, let's see how it's doing. We're up to $5,000 when we started tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yes, and now we have more than $5,000.
Whoa!
Way to go, guys.
Exciting. It is exciting. I mean, when you have this idea, I thought, $100, $200 max. I mean, $5,000, it's incredible. That's not what I imagined when we talked about this a couple months ago.
We have so much great stuff.
I didn't expect so much great stuff. It's amazing. It's awesome, and I'm so glad to see that people are finding it and they're excited about it. And I'm glad people have the opportunities to support some of the makers here.
Yeah, it makes me really happy to think about people having something that our members made in their home, and that is important to people. Just makes me want to hug Lynchburg, but COVID. But it makes me just really proud of this place that we live in, where having something that someone in your community made, is a priority. And so thank you guys for bidding and for being involved. You have until 1 p.m. tomorrow to get your bids in. A reminder that the Fund a Need items are not so much a bid, they are a donation. That's the word. So thank you if you're able to support in that way, and I hope that you'll get some really awesome stuff here. I guess a little bit more housekeeping is that we're expecting most items to be local pickup. So if you win, you will get an email that says a couple different pickup dates. We'll do a contactless pickup. Your things will be all packaged and ready for you. And then if you need them shipped, we can also do that, but we'll arrange that separately. So once the auction ends, you'll get a notification, and any items that you won, you'll be charged for, and then we'll get them to you and you can enjoy them.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And to everyone that we shouted out to tonight, I mean, we couldn't be here without you. We couldn't be here without our board and our supporters and our partners, and it just means a lot to us to be celebrating 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we appreciate your support. This is a great way for you to make a donation to VectorSpace and then have something to show for it too, other than just happiness and fulfillment, something tangible. So
win-win.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I hope we'll see you here at VectorSpace in the near future.